This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020. With us today on The Havery Show, we have an old friend that we just reconnected not very long ago. Just a few weeks ago, I was playing at 301, and I'd already seen her posters around town, so I knew that she was around, but I hadn't seen her yet. And I was so happy to see her walk into 301 when I was singing. Georgia Dawkins, artist, entrepreneur, filmmaker, influencer, you name it. And here she is with us today on The Havery Show. Georgia, I'm happy to see you.
Hey, good morning, Harry. It's so good to see you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. What a special surprise.
Likewise.
Yeah. So we were just talking about Bible Fellowship Church, and it was your first camp and your first.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Your first white camp.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. When I was like 13, we moved across the tracks from Lucas Lake, over by the sewer plant and the school board, and we moved Dinner Lake, well, a little bit further back than that, Lucas Lake. The Forgotten Lake.
Okay, all right. So we need to have a rabbit trail there.
It's by the cemetery.
Okay,
I grew up near the cemetery.
Yes.
Right next door to the cemetery.
That's not creepy
I saw everybody's funeral. Front row. It was great.
So wait a minute. Okay, so I'm at the cemetery.
Yes.
Okay, and Jim's Auto Salvage is kind of right there. So where is Lucas Lake?
Directly across from Pinecrest Cemetery.
Directly across.
Mm-hmm. And then you have the black cemetery in the back. That one's Cemetery Road.
Yes.
Yeah, right
well,
there.
sure.
That's where I grew up.
My goodness.
And so we moved, and that was a little culture shock. Well,
wait a minute. Hold on. We are not done yet with the other stuff. No, I need to talk about the cemetery.
Oh, okay.
Did you ever go creeping around the cemetery?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not creepy to me. Like, I just always grew up next to the cemetery, so it was very normal to me to be over there. And actually, my grandmother, I know we're going to talk about this later, but I grew up next door to my grandmother, not to brag, but she's dead. But it was very convenient for her to be right next door to the house. So I could step outside our house and see her grave.
Oh, no kidding.
So it became like our relationship, because I never knew my grandmother. I'm named after her, but I never knew her. So growing up in Lucas Lake was the closest I've ever been to her, I would say. But when I was 3 years old, before we even lived in Lucas Lake, we went to the cemetery, and my mom said that I laid on her grave, that I laid on my grandmother's grave, because they said she was in there. I guess I was connecting, and she said, "Oh, it's time to go." She got her stuff, and we left.
Wow.
But I think that's just a funny story. However, it is so true to the connection I've always felt to my grandmother, just internally, spiritually, mentally, even though I'd never met her. I just feel so tethered to her.
You never met your grandmother, but you felt tethered to her.
Yes.
Okay. How old were you when she passed? Were you born yet?
I wasn't born. She was killed in Sebring.
She was killed?
Yes. A high-speed chase, domestic violence situation where she was trying to save my aunt from her abusive husband. My aunt was trying to leave the relationship, and he was not having it, not with my house, not with my business, not with my children. And he really took it too far. He hired someone to drive this van while he shot into the car with a sawed-off shotgun.
Well, Sebring. Drive-by shooting.
High-speed chase.
Yeah. He hired someone to
Premeditated.
drive. Premeditated.
Absolutely.
What year?
This was 1982. This happened on May 9th. It was Mother's Day.
May 9th, 1982, and all this happened. And what was your grandma's role in all this?
She was trying to save her daughter, Georgia May Tony.
Yes.
She was trying to save her daughter. She was 57 at the time. My aunt actually survived that shooting. So what happened was Henry Earl Donaldson was, I guess, my uncle, but I never knew him as my uncle. Mm-hmm. He was on the run for 3 months after this shooting. So not only did he hire someone to drive while he shot into the car, he forced them out. It's so bad that I haven't been able to look at the police report. I ordered it 2 years ago. I've had it. It's just sitting in my room. I can't look at it because I want to know, but I'm not ready yet. And I know I'm called to tell this story, but God is working on me. You know what I mean? And it's just so triggering. to the point where Mother's Day is the biggest holiday in my family. But this, I don't even know how to call it, an earthquake, that uprooted our family. It was so much bigger than our family. It rocked the whole town. This man was on the run after killing a grandmother in cold blood and shooting his wife, and she was in the hospital. My brother was in the car. He was 2 years old at the time, and the bullet grazed across his chest. This boy is a miracle. So every time we get in an argument, I'm like, you could be dead right now. I'm like, but you're not. My cousin was a baby. He was 3 months old, and it was actually his father who was doing the shooting. And then we had a family friend who was in the car at the time. So 5 people in this car. My grandmother was the only person who died. He meant to kill her. He shot her at, I guess they call it point blank.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is unheard of. Like, for something like this to happen in Sebring, you can't help but ask the question, how? When everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody knows everything, or they think they know everything. How could something like this happen? Better yet, how could something like this happen and we not keep talking about it?
Yeah.
So that it doesn't happen again.
They caught him?
They caught him. He was found in North Carolina, where he was sent back to Florida. He waived his extradition process, and he came back to Highlands County, where he was eventually convicted, and he spent his life in prison. He died in 2018 when I wrote my book. Everybody knows the power of being in position. And I just believe that was such a divine relationship that God needed me to start to tell this story. And I'm not saying this happened because of it. I'm not saying it's a good thing that he passed, but it wasn't until he passed that we saw the shackles that were still on my aunt. She lived in fear up until the day he died. And
even though he was in the Hooskow,
Yeah.
he still lived
This
in
is
fear.
Sebring.
Wow.
His
Yeah.
family's
Oh, that's
still here.
Yeah, that's right.
You still have his children. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You still have his name. So how could you not live in fear? And so just in the last year or 2 years, I've been having conversations with her about being a survivor, not a victim.
That's right.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
Long way we came from Cemetery Road.
Well, yeah, no, but this is important stuff.
Yeah.
82.
1982.
When were you born?
1987.
This is a crazy thing, okay?
Mhm.
So I'm a crazy person.
Mhm.
I'm a tinfoil hat guy. I'm a conspiracy guy. I'm a crazy person, okay? And the timeline probably doesn't work out, but there are some people, and I'm not saying I'm one of them, but there are some people who say that a soul could be in a grandma's body, and when that body passes, can be used again in a baby who's just being born, or maybe get right around there. You know what I mean? And there's people that there's little children who know things about relatives that they should never ever know about. You've heard about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think that you have? I'm not saying that you're your grandmother, but do you think that you have some sort of otherworldly spiritual connection to her that you just can't explain?
Yeah, I do. And I hate it. I tried to run from it for a long time. I ran from this documentary. I ran from her story. You got to think, like, my name is Georgia. People are always singing to me,
Yeah.
and they sound horrible.
Oh,
They
yeah.
sound horrible. I hate to be serenaded unsolicited. Please stop. I hate this song. But my grandmother loved it. So that's like our bond now. I grew to love Ray Charles. Okay, Georgia, my mind. Fine,
Oh, yeah.
fine. I love the song. Now I beg people to sing to me. But I always felt guilty because they're so happy that my name is Georgia.
Yeah.
They're so happy they get to sing to me unsolicited.
Yes.
And now I get to ruin their whole day by telling them that my grandmother was actually murdered, and
Wow.
I'm named after her. Because I got picked on a lot. I got called Virginia, Arizona, Florida.
Sure.
Florida, really? Get more creative. Alabama. No, Georgia from Florida. And I say that with pride.
Yes.
I say that with pride. I'm happy. I'm proud to be from Sebring.
Yeah. You know what? I am too. And Sebring has been home for me for almost 58 years now.
Hey, you've been here longer than me.
Yep, just by a little bit. But yes, Sebring takes its knocks, and sometimes rightfully so. But overall, it's been a really good home. And I'm very happy that Dawn and I raised our kids here.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, it's good to have you back.
Great homecoming. Thank you so much.
When I saw your poster, was like, I can't believe it. It's Georgia. She's doing comedy night, open mic comedy night. Fantastic. And I knew I would run into you eventually, if not by happenstance, but by going to your comedy night, but one way or the other.
I knew you were performing.
Yes.
I was on a little tour in a circle. I was like, and I'm going to go see her. So we stopped by to see you.
Well,
I meant to see you.
I'm glad you did. It meant a lot to me, and it means a lot to me that you're here. This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020. So let's go back to Bible Fellowship. It took us a while. Okay. It took us a while to get there, but here we are.
Yeah.
So first of all, how'd you find out about Bible Fellowship?
My best friend / neighbor, once we moved across the tracks, Megan Storley, now Megan Tony, became my neighbor and best friend. And I grew up in the church. I grew up at Harris Street Church of God, now Bountiful Blessings Church of God. And I just love God so fiercely that I wanted to know him in every way. Mm-hmm. And my mama said, I'll let you explore other churches. I'll let you, get your own ride, but you can go because God is everywhere and God is in everything. So I'm so grateful to my mom for allowing me to explore in that way, because I was able to see that God loves all people and God resides in us and he wants to reside in us. And that was just such a special part of my relationship with God, was being at Bible Fellowship. That's where I attended my first church camp. Yeah. I went on scholarship to Alabama. Yes. I walked barefoot in the mud. I don't know. I don't know who I was at that time. I was probably like 13 or 14, but I just felt so empowered. Yeah. That's what Bible Fellowship was for me. So I was still going to Church of God.
Sure.
On Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah. But then I would come to Bible Fellowship for Bible study, and the youth services were so amazing. Shout out to Youth for Christ, because they were also very instrumental in my relationship with God and my relationship with Bible Fellowship, and also just with the community. Like Youth for Christ just has played such a leading role in my adolescence.
Yeah, for sure. Was that Alabama? Was that Shaco Springs?
I don't remember. I ain't drive.
Who was the youth person at that time?
It's too long, Harry.
It's too long.
I made a lot of decisions where I don't remember things.
No, that works too. That works just fine.
Great decisions at the time.
Oh yeah. 2020. Hindsight is 2020.
It'll come to me in the car, and I'll call you. I'm like, I remember who. Oh yeah. But no,
it was either going to be 206. It would have been Wayne Henderson, probably. Wayne and Linda.
Yep, Wayne and Linda.
Yeah.
Hey Wayne, hey Linda.
Yeah, those Shaco Springs. We went to a lot of different places, Black Mountain, and we went to several different ones, but Shaco Springs was my favorite. That was a cool place. I'm pretty sure that's where we would have gone in 06.
It was probably like 03, 02 we went.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was wonderful.
Oh, yeah. Good. Those were good times.
Yeah.
Did I go on that one? Do you remember? I don't remember. I don't remember either.
I think I was there.
They begin to blend. Your glasses are really cool.
Thank you.
And they're also a little distracting, because I really like the ornateness of them. And they're almost like Art Deco, but it's also kind of almost like a butterfly.
Mm-hmm. It's like the paint. What do you see?
Very, very, like a Rorschach. Yeah, very, very cool.
Thanks.
Yeah. So anyway, if I'm looking at you funny, it's because I'm checking out the glasses.
I know they're distracting, and I also know that I'm strikingly beautiful. So
well, you are. There's that too.
Both at the same time. I had on shades coming in because I try to hide the beauty, but these glasses get so much attention that I had to buy another pair of just regular people glasses.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So people would stop saying, "Hey, oh my God, those are beautiful."
Well, they're pretty fabulous. They really are. Yep. I tip my hat to your style. Let's go back. Let's go back to BFC for a minute, because when I think of BFC, I always think of Bobby Graham.
No, Bobby Graham, the unofficial mayor. If there was a mayor of Highlands County, it would be Bobby Graham.
She's the one.
Okay, Avon Park, Sebring, Lake Placid. She's known.
Yes.
Through and through.
Yes, she is. And you're cousins?
We are cousins. But Bobby Graham doesn't claim me. I don't understand. So, I have beef with Bobby. No, I'm sorry, Miss Bobby. I have.
Oh, here we go.
She claims me as her cousin, but I call her my grandmother because she's the only grandmother I've ever known.
Okay.
So her daughter married my uncle, and so her grandchildren.
Which daughter?
Her daughter, Delcy. Married my uncle, Track.
Okay.
Ben Tony.
Yes.
Shout out to my uncle, R.I.P. But Bobby Graham's always been in my life. She knew my grandmother, and she's known me my whole life. So I go help her once a week, right?
She tells us every week.
You are, you're like a grandmother to me.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I ain't your grandmother. I said, oh my God, Miss Bobby.
I can hear
She
her.
said, no, I'm not your grandmother. I cannot take Georgia May's place.
Oh.
I said, well, Miss Bobby, I never knew her. You can't take the place of somebody I ain't never met.
Wow.
She laughed, but Miss Bobby, even her grandchildren laughed because they also thought she was my grandmother.
See, that's...
I'm out here claiming you. You're not claiming me. What's going on?
She's claiming you, but not the way that you want.
No,
So
this relationship is more serious than she's letting on.
Well, you'll have to straighten that out with her if you can. But she's been claiming you now for a long, long time because she'll say, my cousins, I didn't put two and two together. My cousin's coming over to help me. And she claims you. She just doesn't claim you as a grandchild, but she definitely claims you as a cousin. And it took me a while to put it all together. When she was talking about her cousin, that she's talking about Georgia.
Oh, okay.
It didn't all click.
I didn't click.
But now it's all clicking.
Harry.
But she definitely is claiming you. 100% she's claiming you. Just not the way you want her to claim you.
Grandparents' Day, I thought it was Bobby Graham. For a little bit, I had Mary Tony. She was my mom's stepmom.
Yes.
And also a grandmother to me.
Yes.
And she passed away my first internship when I was in New York City. I got a call that Mary Tony had passed away, and that was tough. I didn't know it was going to hit me the way it did.
Yes.
Because she was next to Bobby Graham, who's her cousin. That's why she calls me her cousin, because Mary Tony is her cousin.
Got it.
And Mary Tony's my grandmother,
Gotcha.
my mom's stepmom. So it's complicated, Harry. It's Highlands County, okay? We're all related.
Sure. So along those lines, how are you related to Blanche Ankrum?
I'm not related to Blanche.
Okay.
But she's a family friend.
Yes.
She's known me my whole life, kind of like a godmother, like a second mother.
I'm hoping to get her on here pretty soon.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Yeah, she really is. My brother and I were out at the Ponderosa several weeks ago.
Ponderosa?
Yes.
Harry, you
yes.
are cooler than I thought you were, because I wasn't even at the Ponderosa. I didn't know if I was black enough to go.
Well,
they don't even let me on the corner. In order to come to Lemon and Highlands or Lemon and MLK, I got to take my auntie because she's my street cred.
Okay. All right.
Really?
Fair enough.
Look at me.
Fair enough.
I'm a gangster. I mean, why won't anybody believe me?
I don't know, it's a bit of a stretch.
Okay. It's because my name is Georgia.
That's what it is.
I know a lot of gangsters named Georgia.
Yes.
I know.
Yes. Well, me and my brother were out there because in the 80s, my brother Peter played for the Ponderosa Raiders, for Roscoe's Raiders baseball team. I don't know if you ever went to any of those cookouts or anything like that, but they had hundreds of people show up at the Ponderosa, and they cooked out and they played baseball. And so we were doing a live road trip version of my show. So we took our cameras and we went to different places, and the Ponderosa was one of them. We got to talk with Blanche for a while, and so I got her number. And I'm hoping to get her on here sometime in the next few weeks.
I love
she
her
would be
so
really
much.
cool.
One thing about Blanche Ankrum is she lets you know how she feels about you.
Yes.
Like, actions speak louder than words. Her brother recently passed away, and I spoke, before he passed away, I spoke at South Florida State College, and towards the end of my speech, Blanche Ankrum walked in. And I was like, what are you doing here? She's like, I came to hear. I normally come every year. I wanted to hear you speak.
Yes.
But I was at the nursing home visiting my brother first. Her brother died a few weeks later. But just the fact that she made that time to make me feel seen and loved, like, that means so much to me. I love her, and I love her whole family.
Yeah, what a good family. My goodness. And the Tonys. So Arnold, your cousins?
Those are my uncles, yeah.
Uncles.
That's my mom's brother. So Ben Tony, Senior.
Yes.
Was
Adrian.
Adrian, uncle. Arnold, uncle.
Who am I missing?
Adrian. Alan.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Tasha.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. I was walking down Lemon, passing out flyers once for an event that we were going to do.
Just walk down Lemon?
Yeah, I did.
Very Havery, ladies and gentlemen.
No. And I was walking past, I guess it's your uncle's bar, or what on the right-hand side, walking towards Highlands and Lemon. It was on the right-hand side. And I got right past it, and then I heard somebody say, "Hey, give me that $1." And I turned around and looked, and it was your uncle.
Yeah, big.
And he just said this big. He was laughing. He was just laughing.
I already knew who it was before you said it. It's big.
Yeah.
You know, he still pays me for my grades. Yeah, sometimes if I catch him in the right moment, I go, "Hey, uncle, I got all A's."
Wait a minute.
Okay, maybe not today, but I did it for a long time.
Okay.
After I graduated, I was like, "Hey, I got all A's again," and he was like, "Oh, baby, I'm so proud of you."
Oh, that's awesome.
You know, break me off. But I love Uncle Big. That's what we call him.
Uncle Big.
Yeah, Uncle
Yes,
Big.
Yes. Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020. That's good stuff.
I'm so happy that the Ponderosa happened. I'm happy to be home and see the community come together like this. You know, it's so beautiful.
It really is. And it warms my heart. I want us all to love each other. I want us all to live together in harmony. I'm so tired of unkindness and hate. I'm so tired of it all. I'm tired to death of it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just get our act together and be brothers and sisters and love and care for each other and stop all this nonsense.
Yeah. Well, we first have to see each other. And that starts with seeing ourselves. And the state of mental health right now is dire.
Yeah.
A lot of us, including me, are suffering, often silently. And so it's hard to show your brother a love that you don't know for yourself.
100%.
It's hard to forgive your brother or your sister when you haven't forgiven yourself. Mm-hmm. And so that unconditional love and that healing that we're seeking in the community and in society right now, it's an inside job. And then we can spread that love. But you first got to give yourself that. We're missing that.
So, what steps, what tools do you have that you're using either currently or that you have used to get you to a place where you're at now? What steps have you taken? What tools have you used to find some healing and some love and acceptance and forgiveness for yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you for that question. I love that question because I pay out of pocket for therapy. Okay. That's right. My biggest flex is that I've been in therapy since 2008. When we talk about my grandmother and trauma being passed down through DNA, we talk about that tethering.
Absolutely.
I've always felt depressed.
Yes.
Like, I don't know, like I was a sad kid. Like if I wasn't sad, I was pouting, I was angry, I wanted to fight. And I also had some childhood, some stuff happening at the house, some abuse happening at the house.
Yep.
But also I was feeling something deeper, a deep, deep sadness that I've learned to live with. Mm-hmm. And I've learned to live with that by going to therapy and reframing some of the narratives I have about that darkness, that negativity, my grandmother, my family, my own decisions, but therapy. Before I was paying out of pocket, I was at FAMU. Florida A&M University gave us 12 free therapy sessions per semester. So I had a nervous breakdown or whatever, you could call it that. In 2008, my grades were suffering. And I had a friend who said, I think you need to talk to somebody. And I said, I'm talking to the Lord. She said, the Lord provided a therapist and psychologist for you to talk to. And I think he would be okay if you did. And so that's where I started. I started with the free sessions, and then insurance paid for it. And then I went out of network, you know. Yeah. But I have been with my therapist currently for about 8 years. Yeah. And that makes all the difference. I went through a career transition, just identity in general. I needed someone to help guide me through those conversations so I could understand the love I needed to give myself. Yeah. So I could be here with you. Yes. And I can host a comedy show and I can be okay doing the ministry that I do, which I believe is content and comedy, just walking the streets, you know, existing.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Taking care of business. It's hard work.
Yeah.
Hard work. And you know what? If we're being honest, if you're doing your job right, it's a lifetime of work.
It is.
It's not like, you know, getting a zit and then a few weeks later or a week later it's gone. Mm-hmm. It's not like that. When you have those kind of hurts that are so deep down, rooted so far down, it's hard to get to them. Mm-hmm. And when you said, well, I don't know if you said the word generational healing or not, but you alluded to that concept. And I believe that works.
Intergenerational trauma.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
So with
the trauma being passed down through your DNA.
Yes. So I believe, this is just me, because again, I'm crazy. I'll say it. I'm crazy. Intergenerational trauma lends itself to intergenerational healing.
Come on, word. You better preach in here today, Harry. Where's the offering plate? I saw a collection plate when I walked in.
You'll never find one of those.
No, you a pastor at heart.
I'm not.
I know it.
I'm not.
You got a collection plate.
No, I'm not. Nope. Those days are done. But I believe that as you heal yourself and as you take care of yourself, I believe that healing does extend forward and backwards. So even though my mom has been gone for several years, I can still do work within myself that I believe goes backwards and heals the relationship that I had with her, which was very, very strained, a very, very poor relationship. And I believe that it stretches both ways. And the work that I'm doing on myself now is going to have a positive effect on my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. It just is. So if it works forward, then it also has to work back, because God exists out of time.
Yeah.
God doesn't follow our timeline.
Thank God. God
right?
He don't follow our timeline. But I wanted to say to your point that healing, part of Mother's Day for me, I want to reclaim it because it is the biggest holiday in the family, because we all like to come together and be sad. You know, we're going to drink it away, smoke it away, whatever. It's like a trauma bond.
Yes.
And I want it to be something positive. Everybody else be happy about Mother's Day. What you get your mom? What you going to get your mom from? Where y'all going? We taking a trip? No, we'd be like, we're going to do a fish fry. You know, everybody going to come in. You know, we're going to go to the graveyard. You know, it's like that. And it's okay, but I want it more. So last year, I reclaimed Mother's Day by performing.
Yes.
I said, I'm going to do a comedy show every Mother's Day. So I did 2 last year.
That's why you did it the other night. I wondered why you picked Mother's Day.
I did. Last year, I headlined for the first time in St. Petersburg, where my grandmother, Georgia May, is from. That's where she moved from before she came to Sebring with her children and to expand her family. And so performing in my grandmother's hometown and headlining in my home state for the first time was healing for me.
Absolutely.
2 days later, I opened for Roy Wood Jr. at the Tampa Theater. The most people I ever performed for, almost 1,000 people in that theater. That healed me.
Yes.
So this year, I'm home. I've been home for a year. God brought me home to heal.
Yeah.
I was in a state of depression so deep. I was in New York City, and people think that the city is all this lights and glamour, but honey, that seasonal depression, is real. And I was like in a basement apartment, and I had to come home. Yeah. I still have my stuff in New York.
No kidding.
I'm still paying for my storage.
Wow.
Ooh, I'm in a relationship I don't know I'm in. I'm going to get my stuff back, but that's a part of that healing journey for me. I'm home. And so this year I said, I want to produce a comedy show at the Historic Circle Theater.
Yeah.
HGTV was just here, and they thought it was, special enough to renovate.
Yeah.
This is my hometown. Right. I think it's special enough to perform and bring a comedy show and help other people where Mother's Day might be complicated for them. Or maybe they don't have a good idea for a gift. So I made up they can bring their mama to the comedy show. But I shared that story with you because this was the first performance that my family matriarch, my eldest aunt, she's 80, and my uncle were in the audience. And she said to me the next morning at the kitchen table, I'm so proud of you. And that's what I didn't know I needed that, but I didn't expect that. She's also a Scorpio. I did not expect her to be so warm, and I got chills on my arm right now just thinking about it. But seeing my family in the audience laughing.
Yes.
My stepdad has been out of work for months, and he came to the show, and my mama said he was laughing harder than I was like, he thinks I'm funny? This man don't laugh at none of my jokes at the house. He barely he feeds me. He cares for me. He has for the last 20 years, But I made him laugh.
Priceless.
That's a gift.
That is a gift.
That's a gift, God. God, I thank you. Because that was all God.
Yes.
all God. So that's what Mother's Day has been about. That's what the comedy journey has been about. It's a healing tool.
This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020. What about on her birthday? What did you guys do for her birthday?
Yeah, so my grandmother would have been 100 years old this year, February 25th, 1925. On her birthday, we don't do much. This year was supposed to be like the centennial celebration, but last year we did a big celebration for Mother's Day, and so we had some graduations this year. So currently the family is supporting my efforts to do this documentary, and that is my gift to her for her 100th birthday.
Wow.
You know, February 25th has passed, but it's not too late to tell her story.
That's right.
It is still the centennial year.
Yes.
And even the documentary, we filmed, not the documentary, but the comedy show the other day, we filmed that. That's a part of this story.
Yeah.
That's a part of reclaiming the narrative
Yes.
of what happened. I have family members who still can't go to the graveyard. It's been 43 years. They still can't go.
Yeah.
My family has never talked about what happened that day. They talk about it through tone. It comes out in undertones and how they really feel and who they really blame. And oh man, it is deep. And I just want to start that. I just want us to have that conversation because that's healing. No matter how it ends up, like, let's just get it out. The truth will set us free.
Is that what the documentary is about?
Yes, I'm calling it the Wing Ding Queen because Georgia May had a restaurant in Sebring, and she had two actually, and she was known for her wing ding plate. And so they call her the Wing Ding Queen. And I'm like, what is a wing ding? First, do you know what a wing ding is?
I know about the I didn't know there were two restaurants.
Yeah, you know about the restaurant?
I've heard about it.
Oh.
I've heard about it. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Very long time ago. And she was known for this wing ding meal, which was pretty much a chicken plate, but it was the way she prepared it that leaves a lasting memory in people's hearts. Yeah. I cannot believe you just out here feeding bellies, but also feeding souls at the same time. And so when she was killed, that not only left a void in our family, but a void in this community that I didn't know existed. I didn't know that existed, but I feel it. Something's missing. You know, we had the Robert Southfolds of Sebring. We had Barb Walker, you know, people who invested, who we remember. But what about Georgia May? Nobody's talking about Georgia May, but people pull me aside all the time and they tell me how she saved them from killing someone, like gun in hand, like on my way to shoot this. And she stopped me and talked me down and made me love myself. What? I want to know this lady. I never got to meet her. And so I only know her through these narratives. And so this documentary is about collecting as many of those narratives as possible, but also allowing my family to heal. No one's ever asked them, how are you? How did that make you feel? What do you need? And if you're missing your mother, that's the person who would be the one to ask you those questions. But now the mama's gone. So who's asking you if you're okay? When I talked to my uncle, who's the baby of the family, he's now 56. He was 13 when the shooting happened. He said, nobody ever asked me how I was doing. This man has a Purple Heart Army veteran, went into the Army with PTSD after how he lost his mother. And nobody ever asked. He's a grown man, but I see the little boy who lost his mama and had all these questions and no answers. And these siblings, these older siblings who were left to take care of him. This is about healing, not just my family, but other families who have experienced domestic violence, who are survivors and they don't know they're survivors. If people have only ever treated you like a victim.
That's right.
How do you know you survived?
This is huge. Where are you at in the documentary? What phase?
Currently about to cry at this table phase.
It's all right. That's all right.
Thank you for even allowing me to get that out. But I'm in the development phase. I'm
Okay.
coming out of development. I've been working with a mentor
Okay.
for the last 2 years. I've been in a showrunner mentorship program. I've gone through different writing programs. And my mentor, shout out to Steve Katz. Steve was an executive producer on Unsolved Mysteries. And he just loves me in this story. He volunteers to meet with me every month just to hear the updates and help me develop and come up with creative ways on how to make it happen without seeing the money up front. You know, it's hard to do these independent projects, but I know it's something that has to be done. And so I'm at a place where, God, I will film it tomorrow with what I have. But I also know that God has packaged it in such a way that I can take it to a production company and they can help me do it the right way, you know, in a high quality way. Yeah. I think I've been so distracted by the production value that I have not done the work, the legwork, you know?
If I may.
Yeah.
If you're too concerned about the production value, it'll cripple the whole project and it'll never get done.
Yeah.
You're already aware of it, and that's a good thing. But you got to start. You've got to put the boots in the ground and start filming this thing. Yes. Because you know what? You don't know what tomorrow's going to look like, and you don't know who's going to be here and who's not going to be here. And if you don't get this stuff taken care of, you might be kicking yourself saying,
"You like that voice. You're my conscience right now, and I don't like that. You sound just like that voice in my head. They might not be here tomorrow." You know what I mean? And that's been the last 37 years. They might not be here tomorrow. Like, they might not be here tomorrow.
That voice is there for a reason. It's telling you to let's go.
And that's why I came home.
Yeah.
That's why I came home. That's why I thought I came home. But God has been doing something even bigger.
What do you need? I mean, what do you need? Cash? What do you need?
Cameras. You got cameras here, cameras there. I got a microphone. I think we can start. We can start filming.
You see what I have
Everyone
here.
in my family has said yes.
Okay. So,
that is the first thing I got these people to agree on.
Right.
They don't agree on nothing.
That's fine. And that's huge. That's huge.
We're ready to record.
This stuff to me isn't good enough for even what I'm doing right here, but it's what I could afford. And I wasn't going to let the broadcast quality stop me from what I knew I needed to do.
Okay.
So
obedience.
I got
Don't
lesser
rub your
quality
obedience in my
stuff.
face.
Well, I am doing it.
I'm out of order. You want to?
You're not out of order, but I'm just telling you that, you know, sometimes there needs to be a sacrifice of something in order to get something done. In this case, I couldn't afford real high quality cameras, so I got these Mevos, and they're okay.
Yeah.
They're doing the job. Once we do the podcast and you look at it and you watch it, if you think the quality is good enough, I will do the filming for you, for your documentary. I will bring my cameras and set them up and do this for you.
That's so sweet.
I'll do it for you. It's not a problem. I have you know what? Maybe, just maybe these cameras have nothing at all to do with the Havery Show bullcrap podcast. Maybe they're meant for something better. Maybe I got these cameras to help you with your project. Just maybe. Do you know how many times I've gone home and told my wife, she says, "How was the podcast?" I said, "It was great. We had fun, but I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm doing this." And I don't. And maybe I have no idea why I'm doing this because it's not about this. Maybe it's about helping someone else.
Thank you. I think I've done too many big productions that I'm in my own head. You know, when you work with Good Morning America and Will Packer and Roy Wood Jr., when you work on these high quality productions, you start to think, I've created television. I've created talk shows. I've created newscasts. So I think I'm just in my own head about it. But what I know is most important is that as many people see the story as possible. Yeah. I'm not Georgia from Florida for no reason.
That's right.
I'm not Georgia Elizabeth for no reason. I'm named after my grandmother and my great-grandmother. Now, that's a whole nother documentary for BET because she, I'm told, was like Medea. Like the Liz Elizabeth, that's my middle name. Liz was something else. Tyler Perry ain't got nothing on Liz. Nothing. Yeah, I'm excited to bring this story. I'm excited to bring this story here. But God is answering so many dreams for me right now in this moment because I've always wanted to be in a studio in Sebring. Yeah. And I always wanted to create television and film from home.
Mm-hmm.
My prayer to God, my whole career, 18 years in TV, has been, I want to go back home and I want to create a studio.
Mm-hmm.
And so I walk around, I'm like, okay, God, where's my studio? Where's my studio? And I'm looking at these buildings, they sell them for $10.
Oh,
like,
that's right.
why can't I get one and bring a studio here and train my crew and bring a skill set to this county that people haven't seen?
Yep.
Yeah, we got cameras, but how many people have an eye?
Exactly. And we before we went on air, we were talking about well-meaning folks who know how to push a button on a camera, but who don't have that gift. Because you do need, it's an artistic gift to be able to film well. Yeah, it's a whole thing. And along those lines, sort of, almost every day I take a walk too, and I'm looking at buildings because this place here is owned by the county.
Oh, wow.
And it's slated to be torn down and turned into a parking lot.
No.
Yeah. So
if paradise to put up a parking lot.
It is. And this is a 100-year-old building.
This is gorgeous.
And I hate to see it go, but time marches on and time waits for no one. And there's maybe a 1% chance that they'll keep the building here and build the parking lot around it. But I'm going to have to be moving out of here at some point pretty soon too. I've got till maybe somewhere between October and January before they decide. But I say all that because who knows what will come of it, what spaces will be available, and if there's some way to collaborate even on a studio. Who knows?
This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020.
I want a newscast out of Sebring.
Yeah.
I want us to have, to me, this is like a media desert.
Yeah.
Which to me is a media opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much we can build here. And there's so many stories, so many creators. There have been people coming out the woodwork, as they say. Georgia, what do you need? And so I want to answer your question that you asked me 20 minutes ago. Where are you now?
Yes.
I'm in expectation.
Yes.
Of God's best.
Yes.
I'm standing in expectation.
Yeah. And it's a tight wire. Because on one hand, you're trying to walk in God's expectation, but on this side you have worry, and on this side you have fear, and walking on that is tricky.
Mm-hmm. It's so funny how they tell you, faith, you got to put those blinders on, but then when you start ignoring the chaos, they're like, "Are you crazy? No, don't you see what's happening around?"
Right.
Yeah, but I'm on a boat and I'm going to take a nap and God's got me. You know what I mean? I'm going to chill through it. And that's not always easy to do. So I feel crazy sometimes when I'm ignoring the chaos, but that's a peace that passeth all understanding.
Well, yeah, that's what it is.
So grateful.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you, Harry.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited for you. I'm kind of in awe and blown away by everything that you're doing and accomplishing and have accomplished already. Boy, you're a wonder, aren't you?
Thank you. To God be the glory.
And humble. You got all the pieces.
I'm working on it. I ain't perfect. My mama wants me.
Who is? You. Where can people see you doing your comedy night? I mean, I know the answer to that, but look over there.
Yeah.
There, and tell people where they can see you.
You can find comedy in Sebring at the 301. On Sunday, May 18th, we will close out our season with our last comedy show. It's our 15th comedy show in 10 months, and we can't wait to see you. It's a free show. Come out and support live comedy.
Wow, that was perfect. You've done that a few times before.
Nope. I mean, I've written a lot for people. I've worked a lot with super talent. And so it's different being on this side of it, but I do feel like God has prepared me.
I agree. On your film, would you, if somebody was interested, would you want someone to do a GoFundMe kind of thing? Or
I've considered that. However, I hate to tap my network. I'm looking at the state of the economy.
Oh, I know.
I'm looking at the state of tariffs, and I'm so hyper aware of what everyone is going on, of what's going on around me, that I sometimes get afraid to ask. And so I've gone back and forth about a Kickstarter campaign or some type of crowdfunding for the film, which could do it.
Yeah.
I could raise $10,000 and move.
You could.
Move on it.
Yeah.
And at least get a pilot together
Yeah.
for something. Because this story is so, you got to think it's not just my mom and her siblings and my aunt who survived, but it's the intergenerational trauma. It's the kids who came after. That's me, the next generation. And then my cousins and my siblings who have children. And then their children are going to have children. And they need to know what happened to Georgia May, because all these different narratives are dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And we need the truth.
Yeah.
We need the truth. I've seen the impact and the result of not having the mental health resources in 82 for the children, for not having that post-trauma care for the family, for sending them back into public school where they were bullied and abused and shamed. And your dad did this.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what it was like for them. But just to think that they had a different experience than I had walking the halls.
Oh, yeah.
I want them to be able to tell their story.
It's going to be powerful. Do you have a name for the movie yet?
The Wingding Queen.
Oh, you just told me that. Yes, of course.
Doesn't it make
Yes,
you smile
yes,
when
it
you
does.
say it, though?
Well, I mean, how can you?
It takes such a sad story and it makes you smile when
Yes.
you say it. Like,
Yes.
it was like, something super dark. Like,
Yes.
what was it? I called it The State of Fear, uncovering my grandma. I was like, whoa, no, that's a lot. I wanted... Georgia May wasn't like that,
Yeah.
to my understanding. She was light in darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And I want the Wingding Queen
Yeah.
to shine on. I want people to know this legacy. Now, they might come after me for this trademark, because Wingding is trademark. But
Oh,
Wingding Queen, they haven't met Georgia May.
yeah. And I'll just bet you, is it a restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just bet you if you explained to them what it was that they would say, you go right ahead and make your movie and don't worry about it.
I played with a lot of names too. I was like, I wanted to do like Georgia on My Mind. I was like,
Yeah.
let me call the Ray Charles estate and see
Yeah.
if he was in love with my grandmother, because I swore
Ah.
that Georgia on My Mind was about Georgia May. Because I got a
Mm.
feeling my grandmama been fine. Okay. She been fine her whole life.
You have pictures?
Yeah, I got pictures. She got. Why you want to see my grandmama, Harry?
No, I'm just
Why
curious.
you want to see the shape?
I'm just curious.
She gone now. She a skeleton. But no, my grandmama was fine.
Yeah.
Whole family fine.
I got to ask one thing real quick. Has really nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
The Monster Child, Daryl Dawkins,
Yeah.
How-
Chocolate Thunder.
the Chocolate Thunder.
Yeah.
Yes, who was the Monster Child?
I don't
Maybe
know.
that was Barkley.
Yeah.
That was maybe Barkley. Chocolate Thunder, Daryl Dawkins. Now, how are you related to?
My dad. Yeah. So Daryl was my uncle. He passed away 2015. He had a heart attack. But my dad is his baby brother, and he's the shortest of the brothers. So people forgot about him.
So did Daryl, was he part of the Sebring scene at any given time
My dad
ever?
came and started families here, and my uncle Mitchell, I guess it was like a circuit. They would come from Orlando on down and to Highlands County.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a couple of siblings in Highlands County.
Uh,
A couple cousins in Highlands County.
a couple.
The Dawkins were getting around. They were on tour.
Okay.
They were.
were.
Yeah, yeah. Rolling Stone tour. They was on tour. Okay.
Oh yes, 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 yes.
I know you love music, so I got to share this with you. 'cause
Yes.
My mom has been ruining songs for me, one track at a time. And I'm in the house the other day, and I'm going, I want to know what love is. I'm blasting it. It's Mariah Carey's version.
Oh yeah.
And she comes in and she sits down and she said, I hate this song. I was like, Mom, I want to know what love is. Why do you hate this song? I said, just because you haven't heard Mariah sing it. She said, no, I hate this song. I said, okay, I'm going to take a stab in the dark here. Does this have anything to do with my father? And she said, yes. Absolutely. It always does. She said he was playing this song for two other women. He didn't want to know what love was. And so I thought about it, Harry. I did the math. That song came out in 1984. And
Yes,
I have a
it did.
brother and a sister who came out in 1984.
What?
I no longer want to know what love is.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you, though. Thank you so much. I love that song, Harry. I was singing. I want you to show me. And she ruined it. Thanks, Dad. I'm more insulted because she was basically saying you're just like your dad without saying you're just like your dad. And that hurts my feelings. I mean, come on,
Yeah,
man.
of course. Holy moly! I can't imagine what your family gatherings must be like.
A lot of deflecting. A lot of laughing. Dancing. We recently played Uno for the first time as a family.
Yep.
That was great. Once my uncle figured out the rules, it was the new deck with the blank in the middle.
Okay.
Where you can make up your own rule.
Really?
This is the Army vet now. He's very dangerous.
Oh, man.
Purple Heart. Once he figured out he can make up his own rules, he said, okay. Everybody draw 4 right now. I was like, oh my God, this guy so intense. I will be getting up from the table now. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it was beautiful.
Oh, that's fantastic.
We're reclaiming the narrative.
Yes. You keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. You've made my day.
Likewise.
I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Harry.
We're out.
Wow.
Wow. That hour flew.
That was an hour?
by.
Oh, Lord, do I have...
The Havery Show has been brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020.